morning, students. Welcome back to our chemistry class, class 6 ICSE Chemistry, Chapter 2 Chemistry in Our Daily Life, Session 5. In last class, we studied about fertilizer. Fertilizer means a natural or artificial substance containing chemical element that improves that productivity of the plant and as well as in growth. It will gives good nutrition to the plants for the growth. Three elements present in the fertilizer is nitrogen, potassium and as well as in phosphorus. These are the three main elements which are present in the fertilizer. Pesticides. Why we are using a pesticides means pesticides are used to control various pest and disease carrier such as mosquitoes, rats, maize, many insects. Pesticides are used in agriculture to control the weeds. So any substance intended to prevent the destroy of repel insect from the life declared to a pest. Fungicide. Fungicide is nothing but it has been defined as a chemical substance which has the ability to prevent the damage caused by fungi to growing crops. Food preservatives. It keeps the food unspoiled for a long time. Why we are using a preservatives means it will keep the food for long time without spoiling. There are two types of preservatives, antimicrobial and antioxidant. Antimicrobial and antioxidant. Antimicrobial, why we are using antimicrobial means to check the growth of any microorganism, which means germs, bacteria, fungi, etc. in the food. Antioxidant, to check the oxidation of the food, that is reaction of food with oxygen in the presence of air. Antioxidant, check the oxidation, which means food which is reacted with the oxygen. Chemistry and medicine. Previously, medicines were derived from herbs and minerals. Nowadays, we generally use chemicals to prepare them. Medicines are classified into different types according to their uses. Antipyretic, analgesic, antimalarial, anti-allergic, antibiotic. These are the types of medicine: antipyretic, analgesic, antimalarial, anti-allergic, antibiotic. Antipyretic, bringing down the fever. Aspirin and paracetamol are using for this type of medicine. Antimalarial, curing the malaria. Quinine and other related compound. Anti-allergic, preventing a reaction to the smoke, dust, cold, etc. Cetirizine. Antibiotic, destroying microorganism caused disease like dysentery, typhoid, tuberculosis, etc. and also curing infection. Example, penicillium. Chemistry and cosmetics. Why people are using cosmetics means to look good long ago. They were derived a natural source, however chemicals are generally used to prepare them. These days cosmetics are different types, creams, powder, solutions are available. Topics to be discussed: soaps and detergent, chemistry and clothing. In chemistry and clothing, we are going to discuss about natural fiber. In natural fiber, we having two types. One is plant fiber, another one is an animal fiber. One is plant fiber, another one is an animal fiber. Soaps. Why we are using a soaps and detergent? To cleanse a dirt from a particular cloth or whatever it may be. So removing the dirt, greases, stains, we are using a soaps. So soaps and detergent are using as an cleansing agent. Soaps and Detergents are using as a cleansing agent. To remove the dirt from the greasy surface, we are using it. So fatty acids are locked with glycerin in the source. So soaps and detergents are used in such case, in which case means to remove the dirt stick in a greasy surface. The greases are not soluble in water. Greases are not soluble in water. So to remove the greases and the dirt from the cloth, we are using a soaps and detergent. So by having a soaps and detergent, it will produce a lather. Lather is nothing but foam. Lather is nothing but foam. So while using a soaps and detergent in a greasy substance or a greasy surface, it will produce a lather with water, which will takes away all the dirt from the surface. Soaps. Soaps are sodium salts of long chain fatty acid. Long chain fatty acid. So long chain fatty acid means which consisting of a long carbon chain. It consisting of a long carbon chain. So long, how many carbon chains are present in palmitic acid means 16 carbon chain. In stearic acid, 18 carbon chains are present. A common salt contains sodium palmate and sodium stearate, either sodium palmate, otherwise sodium stearate. Sodium palmic means 16 carbon atom, in stearic acid 18 carbon atoms. Oils and fats are cheap source of fatty acid. Fats are only soft solid things found in the plants and animals. Fatty acids are locked with glycerin in this source. Sodium salts of fatty acids are formed and glycerin is set free. This process is called as an saponification. The saponification means sodium salts of fatty acids are formed and glycerin is set free. We are getting a byproduct as an glycerin. This process is called as an saponification. This byproduct glycerin can be separated from the soap and we can be sold it. While removing the glycerin from the soap, the cost of the soap will be reduced. By adding the glycerin, the cost of the soap will be increased. Why? Because this glycerin is a good for the skin. It will keep the skin soft. So when the glycerin added, the soap will be more expensive than ordinary soap. Detergent. Detergents are synthetic substance obtained from petrochemical, which is turned from the petroleum. So detergents are obtained from the synthetic substance from the petroleum. Detergents are cheaper than soap. Then they are not soaps. Detergents are not soap. They are work like a soap. It act like a soap, but they are not at all soap. So it is called as in soapless soaps. It is called as in soapless soaps. Chemistry and clothing. Chemistry and clothing. Cloth is made up of fiber. Cloth is made up of fiber. Fiber are thin and many times longer than the thickness. Longer than their thickness. You can see the fiber of clothes with the help of the magnifying glass. So fibers are two types. But now we are going to learn about natural fiber alone. Fibers are two types. One is a natural fiber, another one is a synthetic fiber. Now we are going to concentrate on natural fiber. In natural fiber, we having two types. One is an plant fiber, another one is an animal fiber. One is plant fiber, another one is an animal fiber. Before we are learning detail about the types of fiber, we will concentrate on natural fiber. So natural fiber means an fiber which comes from the plants, animals and the minerals. They usually have short fiber called staple fiber. The short fiber are called as a staple fiber. The exception to this rule in silk. Silk which will have the length. Okay, it will have at least 1 kilometer in the length. So natural fiber means which comes out from the plant, animal and then minerals. Fiber are twisted together to yield long thread or yarn are called as in spinning. Spinning means fiber are twisted together, long thread are called as in spinning. This process makes the fiber strong. Generally, the yarn loses the sheen. So it is bleached and then dyed if required. So it is so when it is bleached then dyed if required, the yarn is finally woven into the cloth on the machine are called loom. Looming, hand loom. By doing manual, operating manually, they are called as an hand loom, and running with the help of the electricity, which is called as an power loom. We having two types of loom, hand loom, power loom. Doing manually, that is called as an hand loom. With the help of the electricity using, that is called as an power loom. Spinning means a fiber are twisted together to yield the long thread, that is called as an spinning. Yarn can be bleached by using hydrogen peroxide, bleaching powder or sodium bisulfate. So the yarn which will be bleached, what are the things bleaching agent we are using here means sodium peroxide or bleaching powder or sodium hydroxide. It is dyeing by using synthetic material. So now we are going to concentrate on plant fiber. Plant fiber are obtained from plants like cotton, flax, wool, jute, etc. From the animal, we are getting wool and silk. From the plant, we are getting cotton, jute, wool, etc. Cotton. People in India and Egypt were first to make the cloth from cotton. So where and when we are using the cotton, how it is cultivated means cotton plants are grown in best for black soil and in the warmer climate. Process of cotton. How we are doing a cotton process means preparatory process, spinning, weaving, finishing. Spinning, weaving, finishing. In preparatory process involves ginning, blending, carding, combing and drawing, etc. So cotton plants grow best in black soil in warm climate. Black soil and warm climate are the best for growth of the cotton plant. In a country, cotton cultivate in Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. How the cotton plants are started growing means cotton is planted in early spring. In early spring, cotton is planted. In about 2 months, the white or yellowish flowers come up. Slowly it will be turning into pink or red. Cotton is planted in early spring. About 2 months, yellowish or white flowers are come up. Slowly it will be turning into pink or red. After about 3 days, the petals used to fall down. After about 3 days, petals used to fall down. Then leaving behind a green seed-like structure. That green-like structure is called as an bowl. The green-like structure is called as an bowl. The bowl grows slowly. When fully matured, it start burst. When the green seed-like structure grows well and matured, it started burst out, revealing white fluffy cotton containing brown seeds inside. The cotton is picked up by the machine. Seeds are combed out by the cotton on a machine is called as a gin. A black color seeds which is present in a cotton are combed out by the machine that is called as a gin. The gin was invented in India. The gin is invented in India. The gin cotton is pressed into bundle. After the took the seeds away from the cotton, the gind cotton is pressed into bundle. They are called as in balls. That is called as in balls. A ball weight is 200 kg. Then the balls are then transported into cloth mills. The fiber are spun into yarn, then yarn woven into making clothes. This is the process of cotton. Again, I'm repeating, cotton is planted in early spring. Within a 2 months, white or yellowish flowers will come up. Later, it will be turning into pink or red. After about 3 days, the petals used to fall down, leaving a behind green seed-like structure. After this green-like structure is got matured, it bursts out, reveals the white cotton fluffy seeds with the black color seeds inside, brown or black color seeds which will be present inside. The seeds are combed out from the cotton by using a machine that is called as a gin. The gin is invented in India. The gin cotton is pressed into bundle that is called as in balls. Next one, weaving. For weaving, a line of thread is laid lengthwise. Alternatively, the another thread is placed crosswise. Lengthwise, crosswise, alternatively below. That is called as an shuttle. So lengthwise, crosswise, up and down, the lines will be there by using the thin thread. That is called as an shuttle. The lengthwise yarn is called as an wrap. The crosswise yarn is called as an weft. Wool is obtained from the hairy animal like sheep, camel, yak, etc. These animals have a thick coat of hair on their bodies because the air traps the air and then air is a poor conductor of heat. So thick layer of hair keeps their body warmer and protect them from the harsh cold. So getting sheep's wool, how we are getting wool means sheep of different variety, okay, different breeds yield different amount of wool. Not all the sheep are having a same breeding the same amount of wool. For example, native sheep. Native sheep means which is found in India. Which is found in India. It will yield 0.25 to 2.8 kg of wool in a year. Whereas exotic breed that is from the another part of the world, it will yield 5.5 kg in a year. So a native Eve, which means female, a native female breed with exotic, another part of the world, sheep, male, both were crossbreed to give the good quality of good amount of wool. So the Eve gives birth to the lamb after 5 months of pregnancy. The lamb grows into the hybrid sheep, giving more wool comparing with the native sheep. So native sheep which will give 0.5 to 0.25 to 2.8 kg. When the cross breed the native sheep and as well as an exotic native female and exotic male. When it cross breeds, it will gives them good amount of wool from the native sheep. Shearing. In India, the sheep are generally shorn twice. One is spring, another one is an autumn. So a couple of days before shearing, what will happen means the animal is washed completely, thoroughly with water in order to get, in order to remove all the dirt particle which present in the air of the animal. So they are called as an washed wool. Shearing is done by using a pair of scissors or electrically driven sheets. Bad shearing lower the price of the wool. So they will use the good trained person for shearing. This is done as so far as possible at one to go, not to clumps. Any accident happens while cutting the hair, what will happen means they will treat it with antiseptic like iodine solution. What solution they will use? Iodine solution. It is an antiseptic. By unfortunate, by mistakenly, accidentally, any cut happens on the sheep, they will use the iodine solution. The fleece is tied into bundle. The wool obtained from the alive sheep is called clipped wool. From the dead sheep is called as in pulled wool. Wool processing, fleece to fabric. Fleece to fabric. Once we take the fleece, it will be processed into woolen processing and worst processing. Woolen processing and worst processing. These both were coming into the scouring. The scouring is get divided into cardic. The cardic getting into gilling. Gilling from combing. Combing to drafting. Drafting to spinning and twisting. The carding also directly getting into spinning and twisting. Afterwards, we are getting as an fabric formation. In the woolen process, tufted carpets are there. Here in the case of worsted process, we are getting woven apparel. And then quality of wool. How the quality of wool to be checked means the thinner the fiber, the better the wool. The thinner the fiber, the better the wool. A wool of superior quality is more creepy, which means curly. Curly hair will be there for the sheeps. And then inferior wool. The wool of superior quality is more creepy than inferior one. Fine wool has a shorter fiber length 4 to 12 centimeter. The medium one which will have 6 to 17 centimeter and coarse one which will have 10 to 30 centimeters varieties. So quality of wool, first one, it will be thinner the fiber, better the wool. A wool of superior quality is more creepy than inferior one. Fine wool has shorter the fiber the length. Silk. From where we will getting silk? From the silk moth. We are getting a silk from the silk moth. So silk are commonly animal fiber. Silk is obtained from the silkworm. A female, a female moth lays 200 to 500 eggs. So female silk moth which will lays 200 to 500 eggs. The healthiest moth are chosen for breeding and laying the eggs. After that step gets over, the eggs are preserved. The eggs are preserved. The worms come out when the eggs are hatched. The worms which is present in the eggs which used to come out after hatching. Then they are feed into the mulberry leaves. After it will be leading a feed into the mulberry leaves, they are continue feeding for 20 to 35 days. How many days? 20 to 35 days. Then they are feed on mulberry leaves when their worms are fully grown. When the worms are fully grown, they build their own protective covering. Okay, the protecting covering, when the worms are fully grown, they create their own protecting covering are called as in cocoons. They are called as in cocoons. When the silkworm is about 35 old days, it start pinning a cocoon around itself. It will take 3 to 7 days to complete. To complete the spinning of cocoon, it will take 3 to 7 days to complete. A cocoon is nothing but it is made up of thin thread-like structure formed by the hardening of worm secretion. Finally, the pupa inside the cocoon are killed by putting the cocoon into hot water. Pupa inside the cocoon are killed by the putting the cocoons in the hot water which will kills the worm as well as and loosens the filament. Filament is nothing but layering. Single filaments are washed, dried and then twisted to form yarn. The texture of the fabric depend upon the manner of the twisting. This is the process of silk. Twisting twisting and fiber into the silk thread is called as an throwing. The twisting of the fiber into the silk thread is called as an throwing. Those who are engaged in the work are called as an thrower. They are called as an thrower. Then important kinds of silks are four types: mulberry, tassar, eri and muga. Mulberry, tassar, eri and muga. These are the four different types of silks. For today's assignment, what is a soap? What is a detergent? What are cocoons made of? List the types of silks. Thank you, students.